Welcome to Wednesday night's Late Junction. I'm Max Reinhardt, and tonight we'll be continuing our voyage to the furthest shores of new year, new music, with a visit from ingenious sound artist, composer and conceptualist Janek Schaefer, and also playing some of the music of Pierre Boulez, who died yesterday at the age of 90. Okay, behind me you can hear Found Soundscape. And that is the work of Janek Schaefer. Hello, Janek.
Good evening.
It's great to see you here. Now this is your most recent work, is it?
Yeah, it's fairly recent. Yes.
I think we ought to focus on it.
Please, drift away.
You want to see me not make mistakes. They're not normally that harsh. Is that a bit ow?
Ow, no, not at all. I mean, well, especially this week, the quarterfinals, but last week, we're getting to a stage
The
where...
Manchester military crossed for bravery after he rugby tackled a suicide bomber in Afghanistan. Sergeant Noel Connolly said...
Right, what do they hope to gain?
Yesterday, I was down on the floor of the stock exchange in Dubai yesterday, and as soon as those markets opened, we saw heavy storm fire.
Found Soundscape. Janek, tell me about the making of this piece that we're listening to.
Sure. I'm visiting professor at Oxford Brookes University, and as part of that, I saw opposite that they had a campus radio station. They only broadcast a few days a week. And I thought, well, they have days free when they don't broadcast. I could fill that up. And it was kind of inspired also by the first ever digital radio station that just played birdsong. And I loved the idea that just one thing you can tune in and keep it going. But let's make that a variable thing. So I wanted to make a kind of live radio collage of found sound places to underscore your personal spaces. And I thought, well, I know a lot of people that do field recording, location recordings around the world. And how about if I just invite them all to send in something they already had or something new that's just very calm. And I could then layer those up 3 at a time in a random order and make a live streaming thing that's always different in it. I've collected 3 days of audio, and when you layer them up 3 at a time, it's a 24-hour piece that's always different every day.
And how would you like people to consume this, if consuming's the word that you do?
Passively. Like I say on the website, it's a day of sonic serendipity. Adjust your volume to background sound and leave it on.
Okay, and we'll put up the link that people can find this on,
yeah.
and they can have it on all day, wherever they are in the house.
Yeah, I'd like to have around my house things on all the time, radio stations, and I remember the first Big Brother, when that was broadcast. They used to broadcast people sleeping live on the telly. And the digital realm enabled this extra space that had to be filled. So I put it on tellies all around my house and in my shed. And the people used to be sleeping all around me. And I loved that sense of live calmness. So I've created that in a sonic way.
I always found that Big Brother Around the Clock helped my insomnia, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole business of finding a calm space in the soundscape, that's very important to you.
It is. I studied architecture, so sound is space, and that creates place and all those wordplay. I have a wide dynamic of projects that I do, quiet and loud. But I like the kind of virtual space that it creates, and it should be calm, so that you don't have to worry about it. It's just there.
For listeners who don't know a lot about your oeuvre, and indeed your 20-year career, you've done site-specific installations, exhibitions, dance pieces, short film soundtracks, albums, concerts, using your self-built record players, manipulated found sound collage, and the triphonic turntable. What was that?
Well, I graduated in architecture and I thought I don't want to be an architect, but I loved studying it at the Royal College of Art, where I discovered that sound is space and place. And I saw Philip Jack do a performance for an afternoon lecture given by Touch Records, also performing with Panasonic. They used electrical beats with raw electricity, and Chris Watson was there with his microphone recordings of Empty Woods and things, and I thought, wow, look at those three things. Philip Jack using his modified garbage record players, making new pieces from little snippets found in a garbage bin. So I thought, and Philip showed this piece with 180 record players from 1992 called Vinyl Requiem, and I thought, well, that seems like hard work. I'll do the opposite, which is what I often do in all my ideas. So I made one record player with 3 arms on it that could change sound in any way in 3 different places, backwards or forwards. It ended up in the Guinness Book of Records, and it got me on the road and out the door and making live performances. So it trailed the way for my career.
Well, let's concentrate for a moment and listen in a moment more to a piece that you've done called Imagine a World. I mean, could you set it up for us? Can you visualise for us the exhibition space and how the person who comes to see the piece actually starts the piece off?
Sure, it took place in my gallery, the Agency Gallery in Bermondsey, and I do light-hearted work, I do very serious work, and all in between. Being a sound artist, sound is central to everything I do. So in this one, I was really inspired by a guy called Richard Heinberg, who works at the Post-Carbon Institute in America. I saw a little interview with him where he described how are we more intelligent than yeast in the way we are behaving on our planet, because yeast would suck all the sugar out of the world, create ethanol as a byproduct, and just do it as fast as it could until it's all gone. I thought it's an amazing analogy for what we're doing, and are we more intelligent than yeast? So that's the central purpose of the piece. In the gallery, I had it cut to a little record player, and it broadcast to a boom box. It was playing to a little cocktail glass of apple juice that had formed its own yeast, and the little aphid flies were coming to it, and it was scattered with glitter, and it was live decaying in front of you in the gallery with glitter pictures on the world looking like far-off planets, and playing my soundscape around it. And you're invited to put the record on and listen to this quite powerful narration, which I call like an avatar voiceover. So it's a text that I've used from Richard's interview interspersed my own narratives and readings from all my research. And this is what you hear.
So this is what you hear when you put the needle on the record?
Yeah.
Imagine our world, where nature only cares about one kind of intelligence, the intelligence that would enable us to look at the consequences of the way we are living, and judge which characteristics are detrimental to our own survival prospects, and then change our behavior accordingly. If we can do that, then nature will judge us to be an intelligent species. If we can't, then are we really any more intelligent than an organism like yeast, which would be behaving in exactly the same way in its own habitat? In a cocktail glass of fruit juice, for example, the yeast eats up the sugar, consuming their energy source, while producing carbon dioxide and polluting their environment with alcohol. In the last 50 years we have enjoyed the biggest party in the history of the world, as a direct result of discovering cheap energy. We are living in the happy hour of our evolution. Each liter of crude oil is equivalent to about 5 weeks of human hard labor. The current generation will have consumed around half of the world's non-renewable resources in their lifetime. That is a stunning fact, and our demand for more and more and more and more and more is exponential. It is predicted that all the raw mineral mines on Earth will be exhausted by the end of this century. We have come to believe that growth is the only reality. Modern economic theory looks at the environment as being a subset of the economy, which can always grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Of course, the reality of the situation is the exact opposite, as the human economy is a subset of the environment, and if the environment falters, then the economy can't continue to grow. Are we happier now that we have everything we could ever desire delivered at the click of a mouse? Numerous studies have concluded that there is very little correlation between prosperity and happiness. We could again be happy with less if we plan ahead. It is worth bearing in mind that in just 1 hour, the sun sends Earth enough energy to power the whole of humanity for 1 year. There really is no excuse for us to blindly continue as if this goes on forever. As we approach a state of ecstatic entropy, at the very peak of the party on this planet, are we actually any more intelligent than yeast? Humans will do anything to survive. Optimism is our innate state of mind. Will it all just work out for the best in the end?
Will it all work out for the best in the end? That's a chilling piece.
We hope so, don't we?
We do.
Is hope enough?
So that's Imagine a World, and that's your piece.
It is indeed.
And you are Janek Schaefer. And we're lucky enough to have you live on Lake Junction tonight. Now, it seemed to me that the subject matter, that's to say the words that were being said, was so intriguing that you don't really focus on the sonic or musical setting and how it works with the speech. Is that because it's so subtle and clever, or...?
The sound itself is a computer-generated voice, so, that's amazing that it sounded quite articulate in itself, and I underscored it with a little bit of somber sonorities to give it a bit of a kind of twang. And that's all you need, a sound bed.
Is it professionally known
medium
as
is the message, or the message, I don't know.
As they used to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. And I'm interested in that particular description of a sounder. Is that what it says on the dial when you get there?
I've recreated sounds with my voice since I was a boy, so that's my review of it.
Okay. And what else is going on in the gallery, or in your bit of the gallery, at the same time? What other sounds are there?
I'm not a minimalist. I am definitely a maximalist. I find it, my brain races 1,000 miles an hour. I always desire to be super simple, and I'm jealous of people that can invoke powerful meaning with simplicity. So yeah, I have a lot going on in the gallery. I found this old set of 70s disco lights that are reacting to the sound. Like it's on a stack of like DJ records, all white sleeves, and it's kind of that collection of records kind of symbolises the 80s, I guess, which is the high point of excess in one way. I think my generation, we're living, the happier hour of our evolution, and that's what it represents. If you look at the whole history of time, where we are now is like in the last minute of the last hour. It's a very short period that we've devoured half the world's natural resources in our lifetime. It's stunning. So there's lots and lots of depth and meaning within it, and lots of things to look at.
I did actually quote your piece today to someone and said, in just 1 hour, the sun sends the Earth enough energy to power humanity for a whole year.
Yeah.
And they said, wow. How do you know that? Who said that?
I watched the film, Earth from the Air. There's the book that came out like 10 years ago, and he'd done a film about it, which is very climate change or or if that's contentious for you, then, you know, just reality. And it came out of that film, and, you know, subsidies are dropped in the UK and we could go down that road a mile. But I think that's, you know, the sun is the only reason we're here. And why aren't we just soaking it up? You know, it's amazing.
Because somehow we've got a wastrel gene and we kind of ignore the power that's around us.
Conglomerates, money, greed, is that the essence of who we actually are? You know, and I tried to counter that by being little me, saying, hey, look, just check that one sentence out. Let's do something. Look up, not down.
Well, it's an extremely gripping, haunting piece. But if I may just go to the trivia that surrounds it on the wall of the gallery. You mentioned that there was a little collection of vinyl and 45s, 12 inches. Yeah. From your DJ record collection, because is it not true that you are a mobile DJ? You do adult discos, whatever they may be, as DJ dedication, and children's discos as Mr. Manik.
It was a great surprise to me. You know, I started in '95 with a piece with Brian Eno and Art Angel, recorded delivery, and I did performances, toured the world, had an amazingly fortunate life. Still just hanging on to the edge. But when I had a child and Scarlett turned about 2, I took her out to buy a record from a charity shop, and she took it home. She watched the needle drop, and she started to wiggle to whatever it was. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I love dancing. 1990, I went to Manchester Poly, and wow, you know, that was when an amazing era for dancing music. I learned to dance on a podium at Hacienda, and so I love it. And my mother was an experimental dancer in the 70s, and we did lots of movement back then. In fact, I knew Philip Check from way back then. He's my oldest friend. But so I thought, well, I need to get Scarlett the very best dancing music from the whole of history, recorded history. And so I went on eBay and bought a retired pub DJ's collection, 7 inches, threw half it out. And I thought, what can I do that's different? Because I tried to DJ at the Royal College of Art, and it wasn't very good. I just played dance music I liked, but so I've got to be popular. So I turned my box of vinyl around, and for the adults I say, listen, come and have a rummage, have a chat, let's find out what you want. You'll find, wow, look what you've got, put it on. You know, the memories and the culture around it are a really important part of being a DJ. And then for the children, you know, I'm very tactile, interactive. I get out there, I roll around, I dance. I get them to put the vinyl on themselves. I make up songs, you know, make up games to the whatever. You know, you spin me right around the record, baby. They're all sitting down on the floor, spinning around at different speeds. What happens if it goes slower or faster? We play it, and they'll go mad. And I'm good with children. My mother's always said I should be a teacher. I prefer to teach them about, you know, being chaotic. That's my skill, improvising and being chaotic. And I am called Mr. Manic. Don't panic. My name is Janek. So it's gone from strength to strength. And I did my first wedding, and that was great. And it's now over half my income. And I somehow can be the centre of the party now. When I used to be in my own concerts, people lie down and close their eyes and drift off into oblivion and sit up like they've been hit by headlights, you know. So I just, you know, I do lots of different things.
Well, I mean, I come from a similar neck of the woods, but we won't go there right now. But unlike you, I didn't buy my mobile disco back in the day with my Paul Hamlin Award. Is that what you did?
It's 2008. The world had just crashed.
Ah.
I won the British Composer of the Year and Sonic Art Award from Basker, and I won the Paul Hamlin Award for Composer's Prize. It was 3 years living for me, so I invested 2% of it in buying my PA and starting a business.
Well, be Mr. Manic for us for just a moment.
Ooh, yes.
That's right. And we're all your children, or your child audience.
I played this next track at a 40th birthday party at midnight. I like contradiction, and they went mad.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber, their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful chaps. They're loaded with women with vigor. They love to leap in your laps. They're jumpy, bumpy, tumpy, thumpy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Tiggers are cuddly fellows. Tiggers are awfully sweet. Everyone else is jealous. That's why I repeat and repeat. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Oh, I'm the only one.
I wear orange camouflage trousers. Basically, I am Tigger, and I love energy, and that is just such a happy, bouncy song. I play it every party I do. LuckyDipDisco.com.
Well, people know where to find you. Well, it's time has passed really fast because you're such a fascinating person to talk to, if I may say so.
Keep it going.
But I'd like now to kind of approach the last piece that you've brought in for us, which is one of your pieces. It's for Sir John Tavener, and it's called White Lights of Divine Darkness. Do you want to tell us the story behind it?
Yeah, serendipity, I call my mistress. She rules my life. I entrust her. And, magical things happen all the time, don't they? But you just got to capture them as an artist. And on this occasion, it was 2013. I go to bed late every night of my life. It's about 3 a.m. I was just about to turn in. And I found this piece of music and started a sketch for it by elongating it. And I went to bed. I woke up the next day in November, and I discovered that I heard on Radio 4, actually, my brother-in-law had died, who was Sir John Tavener, married to my sister. And I was like, wow, okay, that's quite an important day. So I went down the shed and I finished off the track by incorporating some sounds I'd previously recorded around his house and garden, front door closing, things like that. And I remember a couple of years prior to that, he'd been on tour in Switzerland, and he had a lot of illness in his life, and he'd had a heart attack in Switzerland. And I'd heard in an interview that he'd gone up to the white lights, had taken him up to the gates of heaven, but he decided not to enter. He came back down to earth, recuperated, and I had a chat with him at that time about dancing music and Charleston and things, and we both recounted that we're both no good at all at making happy music, like for dancing to, but we were quite good at making uplifting spiritual music. And he also in another interview talked about how he felt that God was a kind of divine darkness in this lifetime. So the two polar opposites of light and dark, which obviously pretty powerful things, came together in this piece as a tribute to him.
So I feel that we're at the heart of Sir John Tavener, or at least his kind of Blakean vision.
He came late in his life. We both, he sort of understood my music more, and we could have good chats about it, and he enjoyed it. Because it's not religious music, this piece, but I feel it very spiritual and uplifting and mournful and magical, and it's a statement of that side of my creativity that you look higher, it's deep.
Well, for those who've just tuned in, we're listening to White Lights of Divine Darkness, which is a piece by Janek Schaefer, who's in the studio with me right now. And unfortunately, we've had an amazing chat, and we've kind of been through your work and been through your whole Weltanschauung, as they say in Germany. But
my surname's German, my father's Canadian, my mother's Polish.
Well then
I'm all over the place, born in Britain.
Well, it's been great meeting you and great chatting to you. Thank you
on.
so much for coming in. And this is almost where we make our exit tonight. Many thanks to Janek for an enlightening and thought-provoking visit, and to you for listening. I'm Max Reinhardt, and I'm back tomorrow night with more Late Junction, more New Year, new music, and a visit from Leafcutter John. I'll leave you tonight with an excerpt from Tristan Perich's Dual Synthesis for harpsichord and 4-channel 1-bit electronics, featuring Daniel Walden on harpsichord and Tristan himself on electronics. Good night.